Yo, what's up?
So, welcome to Made for Glory. I'm Fr Oskari. This is my friend Pablo. I'm from Finland. Pablo is from Spain, but we're both in Ireland at the moment. We're meeting for an Opus Dei summer course here, doing some theology and excursions and all sorts of great fun. But we're going to do a reaction video to Metallica.
Very exciting.
And the background to this is that, well, both of us were metalheads in our teenage years, and we still are.
A long time ago.
And we met actually because of Opus Dei, the work, the Catholic organization. We're both members of that. So I was in London doing some studies, and Pablo came there. So I was in my early 20s. I had just been baptized, joined the work. Pablo came as a teenager, maybe 17,
Yeah,
18.
17, 18.
And he was this sort of metalhead who loved Finnish metal, and we connected immediately and we became great friends.
20 years ago.
So exactly 20 years ago. So we thought we'd start a series of reacting to some great metal classics and some modern pieces as well. But we'd do first a Metallica classic. Why? Because, well, this is something very personal for both of us, at least for me, because before we go to the song, just a few words about that. So I grew up sort of with Metallica, Iron Maiden, Guns N' Roses and all these in the 80s and 90s. My older brother started listening first to this stuff, and I thought, well, this is just terrible, unbearable, all this noise. But you know, little by little you acquired that taste.
The taste is educated.
It's an educated taste, like classical music and so on. So as some people say, Metallica is classical music after the invention of electricity. Well, maybe this piece is a little bit different, but nevertheless, it shows some of the really kind of raw, early thrash metal, Metallica's first album.
They're super young as well.
They're super young. They were like we were,
Yeah,
back
like
then.
late teens.
And it's very raw, very primitive in some sense, and still super cool. And so what we're going to do is we'll start listening to the song, we'll make some comments, and then we'll wrap up with some analysis also along the way, and of the lyrics and everything. And so how does that sound?
I'm excited.
Great, let's go for it. Sorry, let me just pause here because the really cool thing for me.
What a start!
The cool thing for me is that I've listened to this stuff like literally 30 years ago, but not much after that. So, especially the early Metallica pieces. So, is really sort of nostalgic in that sense. I'll just go to the beginning again. So.
What a great start. So powerful.
Sorry, I don't want to be interrupting all the time, but to me, the drums, I mean, in the sort of metal scene, Lars Ulrich, the drummer, I was a big fan of Lars Ulrich. I played drums as a teenager. We had a metal band with my older brother and friends and so on. And he was sort of my big fan. Now, the thing is that he's not super appreciated as a drummer. A lot of people, especially later on, sort of criticized him for being not so technical and so on, because you have people who are like more technical and so on. But I think he's a genius. He's got a great musical sense. And here, for example,
He was a great team in that sense.
Yeah,
like
and he was one of the
Burton
key
and
musicians.
so on. I mean, he was just such a good team.
Yeah. And so what you see here, for example, what he's doing, the beat, it's super simple, but it's so energetic and keeps that push to the very beginning. Okay, let's come back with the lyrics start. Okay, let's just pause a little bit here. Okay, the lyrics obviously a bit rough. We'll come back to the lyrics
Four
a little
Horsemen.
bit. Right, from the Apocalypse. We can talk about that in a moment. But just any thoughts on James Hetfield singing?
I mean, it's just so interesting because the guy is probably, 19, if that? And it's just this statement of intent.
Yeah.
Very early thrash metal, 1983. And it's just like, we're here, man. Like, we want to conquer the scene. And as you were saying, they have musical compositions, which are beyond their ability at this stage. Later on, they really catch up with their technical ability and so on. But it's just like really kicking the door down and just saying, we're here, man. And even the title, like the Four Horsemen, it's four of them, of course. And it's just so powerful,
Very
right?
symbolic.
Exploring big sort of life sort of topics in terms of destruction, pain, suffering.
Yeah, common themes in heavy metal.
themes.
We'll talk about
Totally.
that. And just the singing to me is sort of interesting because James Hetfield, who became really one of the great vocalists and guitar players in metal.
He's
in
always so
general.
consistent, though, with his vocals.
But in this early, it's almost, sometimes it's almost like a teenager sort of, who has just passed puberty, sort of, broken voice and so on. But that's part of the style, the sense of excitement and aggression.
Horsemen are drawing nearer, another steed they ride. They come to take your life.
I love these long guitar chords.
Unto the dead of night, with the
Very simple, but
horsemen ride.
excellent.
Or to your fate and die.
the rhythm is fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
At least I find it on the guitar anyway.
Yeah. I love it.
It's kind of bluesy as well, right?
That's right.
You were born. No, it's all been planned. Sorted out the reverence right. A sinner once, a sinner twice. Believe for confessions now. 'Cause now you've got the mind of your life.
Thoughts?
So, shall we go a little bit to the lyrics now? If you
exactly.
think that's good. So, obviously, one really interesting thing, especially for us you grew up in a Catholic environment, Catholic family. I grew up in so my parents had been baptized as Lutherans, but I wasn't brought up in the faith, and I discovered the faith in my sort of high school years, early 20s, was baptized as an adult. And it's really interesting, this contrast, like a lot of the music that I was listening to as a teenager had these references to biblical themes here, references to sinners, confession, and so on.
That must have been surprising for you, right?
And it's
Like,
really
so
interesting
thinking-
because I didn't consciously think of those things as sort of religious themes, but obviously when I began to explore, especially the Catholic faith, which I think is kind of the deepest and richest form of Christianity, and I love all Christians, no doubt about that, I began to see like so many things that had been somehow in the form of shadows, so to speak.
Kind of made sense.
Kind of inviting
Came
me to
alive.
those big questions concerning humanity, life, suffering, redemption.
So it kind of came together.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Horsemen are drawing nearer. Another steed they ride. They come to take our life.
The bass line.
Unto the
Really
dead of
bad.
night. With the horsemen ride. Or to your fate and die. Oh yeah, yeah.
And I love the fact that the music is quite simple in a sense, but it's always this sort of dynamic. You don't fill all the sort of number of bars you do, but you can break it down.
Yeah.
And hear the change in the rhythm and everything.
Typical Metallica.
Yeah.
Then later developed in other albums.
Yeah.
This kind of arrangement. Oh, brilliant.
Oh yeah. Now, obviously, this bit for anyone who likes Megadeth, we're gonna listen to some Megadeth
That's
later.
right.
This is so Dave Mustaine.
Yes.
Do you know, by the way, anything? Because Dave Mustaine was in Metallica.
That's right. So early on, he was a member of Metallica. And then, he moved on, or he was moved on. And so he always claimed that the arrangement of the song was actually his.
Okay.
Now, what is interesting is the lyrics were about something else. But Metallica, James kind of rearranged the lyrics and sort of redirected them back to the Four Horsemen, which is very interesting because it's such a biblical type of topic that it's kind of, it goes back to what we were talking about, what you were referring to as regards the idea of big themes in life and even the end of time, because that's the whole point of the Four Horsemen. So yes, there is that connection with Dave in that sense.
Do we want to clarify to any viewers the question of the Four Horsemen, where that comes from?
What is that?
So very, very simply, obviously the symbolism comes from the book of Revelation, the last book of the New Testament, and there's this scene or a set of scenes where you have this mysterious kind of symbolic horsemen. Now it's very hard to say what they are. They're like symbols, at least the three after the first one are symbols of destruction. I can actually look it up.
Go on.
Just to take a quick example of the text. So this is from Revelation 6.
It sounds pretty epic, kind of. If you were to make a film, it would be pretty epic.
And the thing, I mean, you can get it why there's so much music and a lot of metal music on the book of Revelation, because it has all these themes of, well, from a Christian point of view, the idea is that it's the end time. It's kind of this, what is known as the apocalyptic genre in Jewish and biblical tradition, which kind of prophetic, symbolic visions, a bit mysterious, like what do they refer to? But there are these seals that are being opened by an angel, and then by the Lamb, which represents Christ, and then different living creatures come. And one was this: I saw, behold, a white horse, and his rider had a bow, and a crown was given to him, and he went out conquering and to conquer. That's the first one, the white horse.
So what the idea is that they come at the end of time just to put things right?
Well, the thing is actually that the end times in Scripture are our times. So the times after Christ, the time of the church, the time of the Holy Spirit, and it's like it can last for however long God wants. He only knows. For him 2,000 years is like 3 days. But the idea is that there will be trials for the church. There will be, like, in a sense, I mean, actually in the original text, all four horsemen don't represent destructions. The first one is this bow with a crown, and he goes conquering and to conquer. I don't know, to me it sounds almost like the victories of the church and Christians sort of conquering the world. But then there will be trials as a result of its spreading. So there's the bright red horse was given permitted to take peace from the earth, and it was given a great sword. And then there's black horse representing, well, there's a different theme there with the balance, and then the last one, the pale horse, whose rider's name was Death. And so it's very mysterious as a text. There are all sorts of different interpretations. We're not gonna tell or try to guess what's the ultimate truth about it, but it's fascinating that sort of symbolisms are in the background with bands like Metallica.
My understanding is that each verse refers to one of the horses. So knowing that, it'll be interesting now to pay attention to the lyrics.
Right. Let's come back to was it the solo now? Right, famine is there. Excellence, those are different consequences of not just the horsemen, but the different seals being opened also. That's also in the text.
Nothing you can do.
Yeah.
This is so nice. This
Wow.
is so Cliff Burton, like.
Right.
So this bit they call the Sweet Home Alabama bridge.
Oh, that's cool.
Kind of
That's so
South
cool.
rock kind of
That's right.
bridge. Let's
I
go
didn't
back.
think of
It
that
is
before,
so
actually.
cool.
What you have put others through. Death, deliverance for you for sure. Now there's nothing you can do.
And it's just so cool. I mean, these
very
guys are
cool.
basically teenagers inventing this genre and the rhythmic changes, taking theme from
From different styles,
Yeah.
absolutely.
and the bass,
The
kick parts,
bass.
and amazing. I think that was a great solo way, get this sense in which there's a similarity with classical music, with
Yeah.
violin in particular, the sort of run up and down. Go back to the beginning.
Gather around, young warrior now. Saddle up your steed. Healing souls with demon swords.
I mean, the
Now is
symbolism.
the death of doers wrong. Judgment hammer down. See the inside of the black and the swamp. Horsemen are drawing nearer. Let the steeds they ride. They come to take your life. Under the dead of night. With the four horsemen ride. Or choose your fate and die. Oh yeah, yeah.
I didn't remember there's so much stuff here. But maybe just a quick comment on the last bit there and the lyrics. I mean, it's
How accurate are they?
in terms of the
themes that you were referring to.
I don't know. I would need to go through that in detail. It's clearly sort of you can see those reflections in the different kinds of destruction and so on. But I would need to take some time to look at it. I don't remember so exactly. But one really interesting theme here, obviously, if we think about also the cover of the album, it's pretty shocking.
Yes.
Almost like scandalous, and someone might ask, like, well, how can Christians, like us, enjoy this and have fun with this? But I suppose maybe, well, I have lots of thoughts on that. Do you want to start?
Yeah, I
Or-
think it's just that it really goes to the core of the human existence.
Right.
In a sense that they're really wrestling with existential topics. And obviously how one answers those topics and those questions really defines how you live your life. So I think in that sense, Metallica is a great example of dealing with big questions in life. And in so doing, in that process, you kind of go through a life experience that even the song itself, it's like such a journey really, that you enter into a tunnel and you enter into a trance. That's why one of the things I love about heavy metal is that you listen to it with your whole body, right? The fact
Yeah.
that you just can really immerse yourself into that sense of energy, into that sense of rawness, and that there is so many layers of depth and meaning that you can actually explore. But it goes well beyond what people would understand as, you know, heavy metal being simplistic, because there's a lot of depth really
Absolutely.
to it.
And I was thinking just this theme of death and suffering, which is very big in metal, obviously it appealed to someone like a teenager.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if more in the case of men, but certainly in the case of teenagers like us, it's a sort of thing that you wrestle a lot with, like mortality, and also the sense of like a kind of a judgment.
What am I here for? What's coming afterwards? Yeah.
Exactly. And this sort of music and lyrics can be a way of somehow confronting that, which is a kind of a scary reality in some respect. And sort of kind of go like head on into that. Okay, let's face it. Let's not be afraid, but rather, in some sense, take it seriously without necessarily giving exact philosophical answers. You need other tools for that. But
you can't just end there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's listen to the last bit. Which is also already Kirk Hammett in this album. It's incredible.
Oh damn! that is a
It's
good
wild.
solo.
It's
and
wild.
the thing is, you can really see how Metallica will break down their songs, the big songs, because you see two solos here, and the second solo, after kind of build up, is really complex. And the sense of energy, again, the guy is super young, really. I mean, he's just a young Kirk Hammett that you can really already see his style, his sense of dynamism. It's so impressive.
It is.
Let's finish.
Okay, that's the last bit.
That solo's right at the end.
And there it is.
Amazing.
Wonderful.
Amazing.
Pablo, any final reflections?
Just the sense that, I mean, this is the second song in the album, and just the fact that they're just really entering the scene, pushing the door down. It's just so impressive. The sense of talent and energy that then they would develop in albums to come is just mind-blowing, really.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Pablo, for joining me. Absolute fun. And let's just thank our viewers, especially if you stayed with us until the very end. It was a bit of a long song. If you liked it, do click the like button and everything you find there in YouTube, subscribe and so on, and do come back and do provide any comments, feedback, suggestions for songs we should listen to and comment on. We'd love that, and we'll be in touch. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
God bless you.